And we begin in the southern state of Rivers in the Niger Delta region, which is navigating its own brewing political crisis. The policy of zoning is again dominating conversations, with politicians in the oil-rich state calling for a shift of power to the riverine areas, and specifically the Ijaw tribe in that region. The state itself is very diverse, with zoning arrangements split between the Upland and Riverine dichotomy and the senatorial districts. This makes zoning in River State politics very complex. Critics say the Upland, which comprises of tribes such as the Ikweres, Ogonis, and Oyigbos, has dominated power and produced the most governors in the state. They say it's now the turn of the riverine areas. Well, for more on the intricate issue of zoning in Rivers State, I have in the studio with me Ken Robinson, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum. He's also a member of CC23, a group of concerned citizens of Rivers State. Good to have you in studio,
yeah, it's nice to be here, and good evening, Nigeria, good evening, wherever you're listening to us from, you're watching rather. And thank you, Arise TV, for the wonderful job you're doing.
Thank you so much. And we'll come to this issue. I mean, a lot of people are already itching to think that it should be the turn of the Ogonis. But with these agitations that we are hearing coming up over and over again, you just don't seem to think that another upland ethnicity or tribe should actually be in the River State government house. In 2023, you think is the turn of the riverine communities, specifically the Ijaws. What makes you think that that will gain traction among the peoples of River State?
The fact is that the riverine Ijaw people of River State have been very patient. Evidently and very clearly, there is this dichotomy in River State, the upland areas and then, of course, the riverine areas. It's not something created by man. It's nature's own handiwork, where you have a part of the state that is mainly upland, mainland, and then, of course, some little brooks and streams. And then you have a part of the state that is mainly of creeks, rivers, seas, and, of course, the Atlantic Ocean. And so development in one part is difficult. Of course, generally, development in the Niger Delta is difficult because of natural terrain. And in River State in particular, a little bit of history. There has been this balance. In 1979, Chief Melford Okilo, then Bayelsa was part of River State, was the governor. His deputy governor was an Ikwere man, late Chief Frank Eke. Then in the 3 months of his second tenure, his deputy was late His Excellency Chief Dominic Anusha, and a Shea man. So there has been this balance of if the governor comes from the upland area, the deputy comes from the riverine area. And from 1999 till date, as we speak, that composition or that arrangement has been respected. In 1999, the governor was Sir Dr. Peter Odili. His deputy was Sir Gabriel Toby from Opopo, a riverine community. In 2007, first to mayor, then right on
before he was removed.
Yes, before he was removed.
Yeah.
The deputy governor was Engineer Tele Ikuru from Andoni, another riverine community. Now we have Chief Barrister Yeso Wike as governor. The deputy is Dr. Mrs. Ipalbo Arebanigo from of course, Boni and Calabar Arestan, a parental place. So this understanding has been there. And for 24 years, that is up to 2023, the riverine people would have been serving as deputy governors consecutively in 3 successful administrations. And we're saying that's enough. We don't want another deputy governor. Let us, for once, let us be at the end of affairs of governance in River State.
And a lot of people wonder what sort of political negotiation you're doing, because Governor Nyesom Wike has announced that he's going to try to be fair to someone, to hand over actually fairly to someone that will unite the people of River State. And then if you follow the politics of former Governor Rotimi Amechi, who is now a minister, he had previously said that he was not opposed to allowing a riverine person to become governor. But in all of this, despite these politicians trying their best, sometimes you see that the politics still favor the largest majority, and then at the end of the day, due to disunity among the riverine community people, you see the Ikwere is still taking it. How do you address the issues of disunity?
I do not think that it's an issue of disunity. It's not at all. It's not an issue of disunity. It's about party leadership deciding this is the direction we want to go. In 1999, the mainstream leadership of the PDP were mostly riverine people, the likes of Alawaton Graham Douglas, the likes of late Chief Dr. Marshall Ari, and a lot of other persons. Of course, there are some elements from the Upland area that were with them. But a decision was taken that, look, let us give power to the Upland, at least for once. The constitution was that Okilo was from the Riverine. He was governor in 1979. And of course, Ada George was governor in 1992. And that decision was taken. And there was no fight. There was no issue of any altercation. But something that even the tenure of Ada George was incomplete. If we follow the Americans, it was aborted by the Abacha regime. If we follow the American system, if a governor or a president serves less than 2 years into his tenure and he vacates it by death or whatever reason, and his vice or whoever takes over, if it is less than 2 years, those 2 years are counted as insignificant. So in real sense, if we follow the American system, Ada George's 1 year and 9 months is not a tenure.
Well, even the Nigerian National Assembly has tried to address that in new legislation. But how are you reaching out to other ethnic groups? Because you can't just leave this to the political parties. Because the political parties are machineries for winning election. And so they will always go for the largest tribe that they feel that if they give their ticket to, can easily just help
if we talk about the largest tribe, and then perhaps the largest state, and then Kano State should be producing the president of Nigeria perpetually, because it's on record, on books, they have some of the largest registered number of voters. Politics is not about the largest tribe. When we bring down politics to majority winning all the time, that's might over common sense. And politics is about understanding. Politics is about compromise. Politics about a collectiveness. Giving room to everybody, giving a sense of belonging to everybody. In Rivers State, we are speaking to our people. We have begun the process of reaching out to all the ethnic nationalities to say, look.
Including the Ogonis.
Including the Ogonis.
Because they feel strongly that it's their turn this time around. And of course,
the Ogonis should understand that they are part of the Upland areas, no matter how anybody looks at it. And that if power is given to the Ogonis, that means the riverine people would have been deprived for 32 years, and that's not fair.
Are you saying that you don't identify with the struggles of the Ogoni?
Of course, we struggle.
Because they also believe that they've been unfairly treated.
Yes, issues of marginalization, issues of discrimination are generally issues that we all are against, because discrimination against one is discrimination against all. So we identify with the issues of the Ogoni people, we identify with the issues of the Niger Delta people as a whole, but within these issues we must understand that justice must be done. Because justice against anyone is justice against all of us.
So the issue of late Rufus Ada George's tenure should not be in the equation at all.
It shouldn't be there at all, because it shouldn't count.
He was a governor.
He was a governor, but it shouldn't count. He was only a governor for 1 year, 9 months. In real sense, if we don't want to query the judgment of our leaders in 1999, but the Ada George's sector, the Riverine, would have been given opportunity to complete their tenure in 1999. But that's not the issue now. We are saying that if not for anything, the Riverine Ijaw people have been deputy governors in 3 consecutive administrations. Let us become governor. Let others also become deputy governor first. Let the Ogonis try to lobby to become deputy governor. So how have you tried to approach
the 2 largest political parties in Rivers? The PDP, which some say is the most dominant always, and then the APC, which tried to sort of solve these issues, but it couldn't gather the strength to do so because of infighting among party members.
The party leaderships, luckily and very well, and they deserve to be commended, is His Excellency, the former governor of Rivers State, who is now the Minister of Transportation. We understand as is disposed to again presenting someone from the riverine areas as governorship candidate of the APC in the 2023 elections. His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Chief Dr. Yeso Wike, has said he would support processes that would bring a successor that will defend the interests of Rivers people.
Do you believe any of these people?
We cannot talk about defending the interests of Rivers people without being fair and without being allowing equity to play to every sector of Rivers State. And we believe them. former governor and minister of transportation has demonstrated that to some extent. In 2015, he demonstrated it. In 2011, of course, he demonstrated, and then all the internal crises that they had truncated that process. And we're hoping that he's a gentleman, and he will, and his party members will understand that Riverine Ijaw people deserve to be some kind of even rewarded. Let us use that word. We need some kind of reward for our loyalty, as a people to the both parties. In both parties, there are sincere, credible men and women of character who are loyal to state and loyal to the nation as a country. And I think that we deserve to be rewarded.
Do you think the PDP has been unfair to your people?
We wouldn't say that the PDP has been unfair to our people. In 2015, some of us also supported Governor Nyesom Wike, and we will say this on national television. I as a person, I supported Governor Nyesom Wike. I worked for his success to win elections in 2015 based on some parameters, very clear parameters. Our son was the presidential candidate of the PDP, and there was this outreach to us. People spoke to us. We were saying, no, it's the turn of Riverine people to run for office in 2015. But when we were approached that, look, this is the reality. Your son is the presidential candidate of the PDP, and he has also supported this person. So will you work against your son's party in the state? And we reasoned, and all of us convinced other people to work for Nyesom Wike to become governor in 2015. And now we are asking and earnestly appealing to all leaders, political leaders in Rivers State, including Governor Nyesom Wike, to allow history to write his name in gold letters.
All right, we have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. You're still watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Somna Sambo. I have in the studio with me Ken Robinson, who is a member of the CC23, a group of concerned citizens of Rivers State. We've been discussing the intricate issue of zoning in the state. And I'll come back to you again. Okay. It's such a very tough deal. Where would you put someone like Magnus Abe in this equation? As we head to 2023, considering the politics he's tried to play, how previously he almost got rewarded, but this didn't work out. A lot of people sometimes think that they are sympathetic to him, but he has issues with the top political actors in the state.
Senator Magnus Abe is a fantastic gentleman, and a lot of people in Rivers State respect him for who he is. And he has come a long way in the politics of Rivers State. But desires, yes, everybody can aspire for any office, but at times we should allow our consciences to also guide us to steer our desires to the directions that will be acceptable by all and will promote peace, unity in a complex environment, state, society like Rivers State. Rivers State is a complex state. We have diverse ethnic nationalities. It's a mini Nigeria, as it were, like a few other states in the country. And putting that into consideration, we will appeal to all political leaders, as I said earlier, all political leaders and stakeholders, and the entire people of Rivers State, in fact, and friends of Rivers State. We are here, and it's beyond Rivers State. If we were to just talk about to Rivers people who could have been on a radio station or a TV station in Rivers State. But Rivers State is important and is critical to Nigeria as a nation.
So he should forego his ambition.
No. We won't tell him. We are appealing to the consciences of Rivers people, including Senator Magnus Abe. He has not declared that he's going to run for governorship.
Yeah, but it's a very strong factor, considering the Ogoni agitations.
We will visit him as a people and ask for his understanding. The issue, and that what we want our people to understand, is that there are a lot of offices that people could occupy beyond being governor, so and you can contribute to the development.
He could actually be sent to the federal level. Is that what you're saying?
It's possible.
So
he has been for now.
Ambition.
For now, after the Riverine, it could go to the Ogonis. That's the compromise can be reached. And for now, we could say that we are not in a position to make any choices. We are not in a position to make promises. But we can profile, we can reason to say that, look, these people have been deputy governors 3 consecutive times. Don't forget, the Ikweres were deputy governor in 1979. The Eshe people produced a deputy governor, of course, in 1983. And then from 1999 till date, The Riverine Ijaw people have been producing deputy governors. That tells you there is some kind of balance. There is balance in the River State.
And I want to ask you, do you think that this quest for a riverine governor is at the heart of the problems between former PDP National Chairman Uche Secondus and Governor Nyesom Wike, considering that there were talks that maybe he was trying to support Tele Ekuru to succeed Governor Nyesom Wike?
Those are unfounded rumors. That's what we'll say. Politics is dynamic, and there are a lot of interests that come to play. And I think that the politics of Secondus is beyond River State.
Yeah, but do you think Wike was afraid that as national chairman of the PDP, Secondus could actually play a certain role that would make him hand over the ticket of the party to someone from the Riverine area, and that's why he had to find a way of kicking him out of the chairmanship position?
And I will say it sincerely, clearly. I have had close interactions with Governor Nyesom Wike, very close interactions with him. I do not see him as a man that is afraid of anything. He's a courageous man, and he could take any decision no matter whose interest is affected.
So you think he doesn't have any role to play in all of this?
I don't think so.
All right. And let's talk about the merits of having someone from the riverine areas succeed Governor Nyesom Wike. Why don't we just focus on getting the best person that can lead the state? Why must it be someone from the riverine community?
That's the same narrative.
Shouldn't it be based on merit?
Yes, that's the narrative of merit is also being flown across Nigeria, and that we should forget about zoning and think about competence. The truth of the matter is that there is nowhere in Nigeria, there is no community in Nigeria, there is no local government area in Nigeria, and of course in this case River State, that cannot produce someone of competence, someone of character, someone that has a loyalty to state and to the nation to be a governor of River State. And of course the Riverine Ijaw people, we have them in abundance.
And a lot of people wonder, why are you insisting on Ijaw people even if it's to come to the riverine communities?
There are 3 key blocks in River State. River State is like, with due respect and due apologies to anybody that might not feel comfortable with this analysis, but River State is like a 3-legged table or a tripod. Of course, the Ogonis, the Kwere block, and then the Ijaw block.
Yeah, but there are still other ethnic nationalities.
Yes, behind this, we have the Kwers, we have the Shea people, we have the Igbo people. But largely, the Kweres have 4-5 local government areas.
Don't you think that even if the state politicians in the state decide to zone it to the riverine communities, there'll still be some tussle as to who is qualified to actually represent the riverine communities?
No.
You think that the Ijaws will just have a field day?
There won't be any tussle. The Ijaws, as I said earlier, have been a loyal people to both the APC and to both to the PDP. And the issues of whether we will have 10-20 persons from the Ijaw area contesting for primaries also do not count. Don't forget, in 2018, the PDP zoned its presidential ticket to the north. We had 12 aspirants from the north that contested that PDP ticket. Someone won. The leadership of the party has a direction that it has chosen to go, and that direction will prevail. And that is the way it works.
Okay.
If the leadership of PDP at the state level, the leadership of APC at the state level, working, of course, in consonance with the national levels of the various parties, agree that this is the direction we want to take, that direction will prevail.
Okay. What if these 2 big political parties don't present anyone from the riverine communities? What would you be doing?
That will be chaotic. It will be chaotic, and I'm saying this with
every sense
of responsibility.
Will you have protest votes against the APC and the PDP?
If in 2023 these 2 parties do not produce a riverine candidate, we will look for an alternative, and we'll mobilize Rivers people to ensure that it goes in the direction of fairness, justice, and equity.
And I will ask you, it's not just River State alone that Ijaw people are asking to be given an opportunity in 2023. Even in Delta State, you're asking the Urhobos to set aside. You're also asking the Anioma to be set aside and allow Ijaws to actually have a taste of the governorship. Why does it seem that it's a general clamor in the state where you have the Ijaws in the Niger Delta? Because
we've been for too long sidelined. In River State, we're talking about 24 years. We have been sidelined completely. And the Ijaw leadership at the time, as I said earlier, voluntarily, without any altercations, without protests, there were no interviews on national televisions like this. They, on their own, in good conscience, decided that, look, we had governor in 1979, we had a governor in 1992, this time, let us allow these people to have it. And the understanding at that time was that after 8 years of Sapito Dili, it will come back to Riverine. After 8 years, it go back up.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Some kind of rotation.
So I just wanted to actually get your views on why the Ijaw should actually be governor in Delta State too. I mean, because that clamor is very, very high. Very quickly, as we try to run
it's difficult for me to speak concerning Delta State, but
yeah, maybe,
I think it's related. Presently, there is an Ijaw man who is deputy governor of Delta State, and in some advanced societies, you see the vice presidents becoming president.
Yeah.
You see deputies taking over as governors. And if that obtains in Delta State, it will be fantastic. I think that a young man who is deputy governor there without saying anything about it.
So I just want to ask you one question. Do you believe in merit or you insist on zoning?
There is merit is incorporated in zoning.
Interesting. And how is that?
Fantastic, because everywhere we can identify people who can pick based on merit from any zone. In any state, in Nigeria as a whole. In every zone, there are people that are competent, there are people that are credible, there are people that, it's important, people who are loyal to the state and to the country, to the unity of Nigeria, to the peace of Nigeria, and to the progress of Nigeria.
All right.
And we have those kind of people in all the states. We have those kind of people in the 10 local government areas.
All right.
Of Ijaw people.
We must thank you so much, Ken Robinson, National Publicity Secretary of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, for joining us on this conversation.
Thank you.